Welcome back to Kin in Line. I make this part 65. This is actually a parakeet which I had when I was married for the first time for 3 years, either drawn in East London or later when we moved to Port Elizabeth in '84. So what I did was sketch them and then try and use watercolor to bring out the form a bit. Unfortunately, it wrinkles up the paper, but it doesn't really worry me. It's, I think, neatly framed, this would still look good. Yeah, some nice lines and movement here, this chap. Of course, it was a terribly noisy bird. But then, scope for some art. It's quite a nice quick one of it. Shame, caged birds, eh? Not much of a life. When I went to Australia for the first time in 2016, I think it was, and saw parakeets and parrots and all sorts just flying around wild, it was hard to believe that the only time where I'd seen these birds was in cages, and yet they're so happy out in the wild. So I hadn't seen these for a long time, but some of them were quite effective. And this was a sketch I did of my first wife, Anne. In watercolored later. Yeah, a little bit naughty, but when you're in your late 20s, your mind is kind of one track. So this is a nice looking watercolor book, but I didn't really do it justice. So there's a quick sketch of that same parakeet. Quite a nice one down there. Not sure where this was done. And then, which way up would this be? Yeah, looks like a sort of Karoo inspired landscape, but definitely not drawn from life. And here's a whole page just waiting to be used. And then I just found this lying around, little cartoonies thing on an envelope. Happy Christmas, ladies, and remember you too could look like this with careful dieting. Bit of a fattest, I think. And some of my left field Then I also found this creature, which is a self-portrait done in about 85. Still got the army snore moustache. Not looking too chuffed with life either. This might have been just prior to or after the end of my first career as a married person. These cheap jotting pads that I bought, I don't think there's much in this. I gave it a quick browse. There is one interesting thing. This was a cabinet I designed for my record collection. So 2 doors there, and then here we got it. So my woodwork training came into the fore here, and if I see, there's another drawing here of it. Very functional, but I made this in a spare room of our flat. I'm sure the neighbours weren't too chuffed as I planed away and hammered away. Didn't have any electric, I had an electric sander. So if we take a quick stroll through here to the lounge, you'll see, there it is. Got my record collection and the old record player, which unfortunately is, after nearly 35 years, is finally on its last legs, which is sad because now I don't have anything to play records on. What was this little pad? Yeah, as I said, I would, a few years later, 5 to 10 years later, would twice raise little sons with my new wife, my second wife. And then there's your inevitable peacocks. Not sure what bird species that is, maybe it's just a quick peacock. No idea who he was. Or her. And then the old beach always offered up models such as these. Possibly a gay couple, who knows? Who cares? And then, interesting voluminous figures under an umbrella. I think these were done on the King's Beach in Port Elizabeth. So by this stage I'd moved. The chap on a bike probably across the sand. Weird. Man with dog. Pre-cell phone days, but she seems to be on a phone, interestingly. No. We have to reverse the page here, I think. Yeah, so in the army, I remember doing a drawing of a guy whose head grew out of the sand. Well, this is a bit different. He's got little trees growing out of his head. Yeah. Imagine if we had trees growing out your head. Oh, I've got myself. Oh, this was a little attempt at Anne body surfing. She was quite a good swimmer in her youth, I think. Not sure what that's trying to be. Sort of an architectural study. And this guy. That's me now. Color must become incidental. If form is created out of a set of lines, not totally accurate, but cumulatively expressive, then random color, not even conforming exactly to form, is needed. Profound stuff. Anyway, on this note, I think I'll have to sign off for now. Cheers.